to be given to us by the late chair, Senator Ibrahim Pantami.
All other protocols duly and respectfully observed. Good afternoon, and may peace, mercy, and blessings of the Almighty Allah be upon you. Firstly, I begin by appreciating the effort of the National Assembly, particularly the Senate, for organizing this public investigative hearing in order to come together and discuss about the impact of our fifth generation technology on our citizens in Nigeria. Furthermore, I also appreciate the opening remarks of the President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Dr. Ahmad Lawal, and the Chair of ICT and Cybercrime in his vote of thanks, and most importantly, that of the Chair of our Communications in her opening remarks. What they have said, I just want to confirm to them that they are on the same page with the executive arm of government under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As they earlier informed us, our position in the executive arm of government under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, our top priority always is the security and welfare of our citizens, as has been in the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as amended Section 14 under Article 4, subsection 4, Article A and B, that the primary responsibility of government is the security and welfare of its citizens. This has been the position of the President. This has been our position in the telecommunications sector and in the entire digital economy family. Because of this, we are on the same page. Furthermore, what we have started doing in 5G as my position, Minister in charge of Communications and Digital Economy, based on the provision of the Constitution of Nigeria as my constitutional mandate, Section 147 and 148, we are only following our process of rule making and policy making. We are not yet there where we will deploy 5G, but definitely we are on track, and we are conducting the research, investigation, engaging stakeholders, and definitely if all issues are addressed, the executive arm of government will support the deployment of 5G in Nigeria. Most importantly, we are not operating in silos. Nigerian telecommunications sector is part and parcel of the static group of United Nations, that is the International Telecommunications Union. As in the Nigerian Constitution Act 2003, under Section 23 as the power and function of the minister, under Article B, I am representing the federal government of Nigeria in International Telecommunications Union, where issues on technology and their impact on the world are being discussed. Also, Nigeria is a member of World Health Organization under the United Nations, and both of them issued their position based on the research conducted globally. There is a report of ITU, and here I will slightly disagree with the statement made by our respected sister, the chair, Senate Committee on Science and Tech, on that WHO could finish the research in 2022. WHO conducted their research on 5G, and this is what they have published, and its implication, if any, on health and security. So the report is ready. Respected chairman of our committees, I will just go briefly on behalf of the executive arm of government, most importantly under the ICT sector, and I am here accompanied by the EVC of NCC, Professor Umar Garba Dambata, DG NIDA Kashifu Abdullahi Inua, and MD Niche Consult, Dr. Abimbola Alade. If there is any issue that their intervention is required, with the kind permission of the committee, or rather the committees, I will ask them to come and contribute in a relevant place. This will make the presentation much easier, because the memo we submitted to the committee on the 29th of May 2020 is more of a joint memo. So usually we take decision through consultation, and we hardly submit independent memos. We only come together, discuss the issues, agree on the right position, and we usually submit our position whenever is required, officially and jointly. The issue of 5G in Nigeria, I will go through it superficially. That on 29th of August 2019, the Nigerian Communications Commission, as the regulator of telecommunications sector in the country, announced their intention to begin proof of concept trial in the country. My attention has been drawn to that, and immediately as the supervising minister, and also as enshrined in the Constitution of Nigeria, Section 147 and 148, as the constitutional power of the minister, and based on the provision of NCA 2003 Act, Section 23, I reached out to the EBC immediately about what they were planning, and he briefed me extensively, and I advised them to put the process on hold in order to invite more stakeholders to join the process. He complied with that immediately. We wrote a letter to so many stakeholders, including the National Assembly, to join the trial so that we can study everything together and we can come up with a position. So they put it on hold, and I directed NCC to write a letter to some institutions and other stakeholders, and I personally wrote to some institutions and stakeholders, at least 15 of them. I can recall that we invited almost all our security institutions to be part and parcel of the trial. I personally sent the letter to all of them. Also invited the Minister of Defense, invited also the Office of Minister of Police Affairs, invited the Office of Minister of Interior, invited Inspector General of Police, invited DSS, invited NIA, invited Office of Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Defense Staff, Defense Intelligence. All these institutions were invited even before we have started anything. And NCC invited other stakeholders on behalf of us. And on the 19th of September, after contacting all stakeholders, the process of a trial to study the impact of 5G in Nigeria was approved by the federal government of Nigeria in some selected places. In Abuja, Kano, Lagos, Ibadan in Oyo State, Abeokuta in Ogun State, Calabar in Cross River State. In all these states, we organize a trial, and this is the process of a new technology adoption. You cannot just accept it the way it comes. You need to study it. And as we are studying the technology, international bodies like ITU, WHO were also studying it. Because of this, we invited all stakeholders. And on 25th of September 2019, we conducted the first trial of 5G in Nigeria. In order to demonstrate with all sense of humility, leadership by example, I personally did the trial. So if there is any security implication or medical implication, then ISA should be #1 victim. And if there is any relationship with COVID-19, then I should be the first victim because I did. And I'm grateful to the Almighty. To date, I have never contracted the virus. And I did the test at least 9 to 10 times. I'm grateful to the Almighty. So I did the trial personally. So if there is any implication of other radiation, as many people allege, without knowledge, then I should be the #1 victim. As the global practice, in that process of doing the trial, we remain very objective. Only the result of our investigation and contact will determine the position of the federal government of Nigeria, because we don't have anything to benefit from it. As we know, our constitution clearly states that our primary responsibility is the security and welfare, and that will not be compromised in any situation we find ourselves. The trial, the first trial here in Abuja was done on 25th of September 2019. As I said, I did it. Members of our committee in communications, both Senate and House, were represented physically. The images are available online. If you Google, you will discover all the images we snapped there while I was conducting the trial. Security institutions were all invited to join the meeting, and we did the trial. After the trial, usually, that trial is the proof of concept trial. And after the proof of concept trial, we gave the operators a maximum of 3 months to complete everything and submit a report, in which they did, and submitted a comprehensive report to the Nigerian Communications Commission as the regulator of the sector. NCC forwarded the report to me. We have our way and the stages of policy development at the national level. So it requires a lot of engagement. And because of this, we replied to NCC saying that we need to start the process of policy formulation, which could end up with the endorsement of President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GC Ibrahim. All these stages, as a minister, exercising the power of the president and appointed by him, or rather nominated by him, Mr. President is very much aware of all the stages we have been taken from the beginning to where we stop. After submitting the report to NCC, we also directed NCC to set up a committee that will engage more stakeholders. Part of the letter I conveyed to NCC with that on the 14th of February 2020 clearly stated that all stakeholders must be invited, and I gave some examples like within the sector like Alton, ARTCON, Nigeria Computer Society, environmental institutions, security institutions again, medical institutions. As part of that, NCC conveyed to them, and we published the invitation in national dailies, and the copies are available. All of them were invited. We started the process of engaging them as part of our national policy formulation as in NCA 2003 under Article 8. So now we have done a lot in that process. Part of what we have achieved is through that engagement, conducting research, attending ITU meetings, engaging ITU at the international level, WHO. Even in the process here in Nigeria, WHO was invited to represent the global body. So the position where we are today is we have completed the significant part of our investigation and contact. We are in the process of compiling our final position, and most probably that final position will be in a form of a draft national policy which is going to be presented before the Federal Executive Council chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari. It is after submission and presentation of the national policy, then we can come back and see how that can be implemented. If that policy is concluded, I am done with the majority of my responsibility. The remaining will be that of our NCC to ensure its implementation. As part of the implementation, they will come up with their own regulatory instrument. If there is any major observation raised, then that regulatory instrument will address it. Technology is not being deployed without regulatory instrument. It is the responsibility of that regulatory instrument to ensure that any negative effect is addressed. If there is any technology that is harmful, regulatory instrument will ensure that that has not been approved. If there is any required distance between towers or masts, that regulatory instrument will clearly state it, as usually is 10 meters. If there is need for any process to be conducted, that regulatory instrument will address. So the position we are now, we are almost at the final stage, and the final stage will require producing a draft national policy that will be presented before the Federal Executive Council for approval. And that policy will accommodate all the views that we have been collecting from all other stakeholders. However, as been asked by the President of the Senate here, is Nigeria ready for 5G? I was asked the same question when I appeared on the Channels television the day we issued a press statement when a theory was circulated that 5G related to COVID-19. That is on 4th April 2020. In that statement, we said federal government is neutral and very objective. And federal government will not do anything that will compromise the security or health of our citizens. It is in order to demonstrate that is why we have been coming up with so many policies that is improving the security, including NIN and SIM verification. The policy has been in place for over 10 years, but there wasn't any time that the policy is enforced but now. And this is part of the guidance of President Muhammad Buhari to the sector, and this is what we have been doing. So now, Nigeria is ready for 5G. I would say based on what we have been doing, as long as we address the major challenges, then definitely we are almost ready. What we only need to do is to ensure that the process is completed. Secondly, whether it has any negative impact on our citizens. When it comes to health issues, our investigation here in Nigeria did not show any negative impact. When it comes to global position, as I said, this is a paper published by WHO. It is available online in their website, who.int. They clearly stated that to date, and after much research performed, no adverse health effect has been causally linked with exposure to wireless technologies. Health-related conclusions are drawn from studies performed across the entire radio spectrum, but so far, only a few studies have been carried out as the frequencies to be used, but so far, no any negative impact has been established. The research is ongoing, but for sure the research they have conducted, there is nothing like that. The paper of our ITU is also here, which is another arm of United Nations. In that one, they also clearly stated that there is not any link between 5G and COVID-19. And there is no any relationship between 5G and any disease. The only issue being raised usually by people is about radiation. But people fail to realize that the radiation of 4G that we are all using here is more harmful than that of the 5G. That of 4G. The radiation of 4G, I'm using it here, and almost everybody has his phone here. That 4G on your phone is more harmful than the 5G we are anticipating. The radiation of microwave oven at home that our family cooks food for us is more harmful than that of the 5G. There is no doubt about this. The radiation of even the smartphone itself is even more harmful than that of the 5G. 5G is an advancement of 4G. That advancement reduces significantly even the strength of that radiation. So it is an advancement. New technology comes up in order to address maybe previous limitations or the limitations of the previous technology. 3G is an advancement of 2G. 4G is an advancement over 3G. 5G is an advancement over 4G. In addition, whatever we do, we usually have our predecessors. The most advanced nations today in the world, they all have deployed 5G. And they are more concerned in security and health safety of their citizens than the developing nations. There is 5G today in the US. There is 5G in the UK. There is 5G in Switzerland. There is 5G in South Korea. There is 5G in China. And today, China, the origin of COVID-19 doesn't have a single case of COVID-19. And they have already deployed 5G. And in Africa, there is 5G in South Africa. And there is 5G in Lesotho. The time that the theory started circulating in Nigeria in April, linking 5G with health issues like COVID-19, there wasn't a single case of COVID-19 in Lesotho, the entire country. So because of this, many countries have deployed it. And I want to assure this committee, this is normal. What is required is to complete the process of our consultation and research and come up with the draft national policy. That draft national policy should be all inclusive. It requires all of us to be on the same page. And what I earlier directed NCC since in June last year is to continue creating awareness, because any new technology comes up with challenges. Mr. Chair, I want to inform you, when this mobile phone came to Nigeria, I was a lecturer at Abubakar University, lecturer at the Department of IT, Information Technology. I couldn't use mobile phone because I'm somehow conservative. I resisted. I was teaching IT, but I couldn't get it because there was a theory that there was many negative impact while using mobile phone. I couldn't use it. So the first time I obtained or I purchased a mobile phone was in 2004. I was compelled by the development to accept, but I couldn't at the initial stage. When street light were to be installed in the UK in 1818, there was a very serious resistance from the citizens, saying that Almighty says in divine scriptures that He created day and night. If we allow street light to be installed, then we are converting day to be like night to be like daytime. So we are changing the creation of Almighty. So they resisted street light because of religious reason. Today, if our predecessors will be brought out from their graves in the UK to see the advancement, they will not realize that this was the country they left. So because of this, this is the general perception, and it is our collective responsibility to join hands. We serve the same citizens, and we don't have any objection, and our priority is the security and safety of our citizens. And that is why we take some very hard decisions, like with SIM registration and NI number. They are very hard and difficult decisions, but we remain very steadfast in spite of all challenges. Why? Because our priority is security and safety. And in whatever we do, that is our priority. So I want to assure this committee that we are not yet done, but we are about to complete the process. And if that is completed, I assure you, we will share the document with you so that you can look into it. And the document is going to be presented before the Federal Executive Council. And after that, we will convey the decision of the Federal Executive Council to the regulator, that is NCC, for a further action to be taken based on the decision taken by Mr. President. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that insightful presentation. I guess you must have spoken